You are listening to Founders Circle Signal, a Founders Circle and Ad Club Bangalore initiative. 30 minutes with one senior leader from India's advertising, marketing, and communication industry. Not a career retrospective, not a victory lap. A direct conversation about how they think, what they are watching right now, what they believe most of their peers are getting wrong, and where they are placing their next bet. The audience for the show is the peer community of the people on it. Equals speaking to equals. I am Suneet John, and here is today's signal. We start today with Shivani Raina. Shivani, I'd like you to introduce yourself to our audience.
So I'm a media, advertising, and content creative person. I've been in the interrelated field of communication for almost 3 decades now. I've had the good fortune of starting with agencies when they existed as, single unit agencies to when agencies moved to media separate and creative separate. I then jumped ship. I've actually always loved to know why people watch what they watch. Like the consumer is very fascinating for me, always has been. It's been at the core of every question that I try to answer. That, like, what gets them about this product? What will get them about this piece of content? And how can we really, through whatever we are offering, a service or a product, solve some problem for the consumer, satisfy some need. Little OG in my, mic upbringing that way. Ki, so put the consumer first. So I jumped. Television was becoming big. Television had hit, big numbers. I moved to first creating television content in the speciality of branded content. So I always carried the brand with me. I carried the brand with me from advertising to television. And then I was at Colors for a significant number of years, for over a decade, where I led the branded content piece. It was amazing fun. We were so big. We were a phenomena. We were a cultural phenomena, just not just a viewership phenomena. And I was sharing it with you off the record before we started that the ability to communicate with the broadcast medium, it's very powerful. It's extremely enriching for the brands as well, because it's like, so I think the marketing people wore different hats then. Now, of course, the game is turned. The tables have turned. Everything's on its head now, and that again lured me. I think change lures me. I find it fascinating as audiences started to break up. Digital has grown. I mean, of course, it's now almost 40%. I think is the budget that's going for any significant brand into digital. How smaller pockets have emerged. My career has followed the consumers' entertainment patterns, and I moved to digital in 2022. I mean, we were already doing digital extensions at Viacom, but I think this became far more specific. And I moved to digital content company. I moved to marketing digital content, and finally, 2 years ago, I set up my own content creation company. So we're a studio which can create content for any platform. And I think I'm able to bring that understanding of how consumers on different platforms are actually want to see something very different. They want to enjoy something very different. There's a learning in there for brands. There's a learning in there for, of course, all creative people, all marketing people. So, and I really like what I do. I love what I do, actually. I don't just like it, I love it.
So, Shivani, the way that I've planned this is to go through um, four different sections. All right. And the first one is to share with our viewers how you think, right? So, we're going to get right into it. All right. When you started your company, what did you believe about the industry that you no longer believe?
So when I set up Peripheral Vision Collaborative, which is what my company is called, I really thought that, and I've set the company up with my husband. Neerav Ghosh, who's a director and a digital specialist, actually a sports specialist. And we thought we were bringing in expertise and efficiency of large scale production. However, the market has shown me that what marketers, brands really want is actually assurance. They want an assurance on the story, the narrative that they want, that they are, taking forward for their product, and they want to know the possibility that how will the consumer interact with me. Of course, everyone's gone beyond engagement now because engagement needs to move to interaction and action. So they want this assurance कि this is going to generate the outcome that I want. The story is going to leave the impact that I want it to leave. So I find myself actually playing that kind of like that kind of a support, that kind of assurance, that having done thousands of hours of content and across platforms, yes, this worked at this time. This is an example. This is where it worked, or tweak it like this. You'll get more engagement. You'll get better interactivity. You'll get a better retention. And yeah, so I think that's what's different. I thought I was bringing in efficiency, but I'm bringing in assurance and just experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's basically what any client today and any brand today is looking for, right? Walk me through the last decision where your instinct said one thing and the numbers said another. Which one did you follow and what happened?
So we got really lucky in coming to know that Unboxing Bangalore for their BLR Hubba was looking for an agency. And we went in there and we got shortlisted and all of that. And what we realized is, like most clients, they first put ki money is only this much. But the scale of, and for those who are watching who are outside of Bangalore, Bangalore Hubba is this huge cultural, bonanza that happens for 10 days in Bangalore. There's cultural events. So this year there were 350 events in 10 days across 15 locations. And they didn't have the kind of money they needed to have to cover it and document it, but they had a great heart. So we did the meeting, and I remember the budget I had shared was three times what their budget was. So three times, and literally three times. And he's looking at me and he's like, this is not Bombay, this is not Viacom, this is not. So I said, okay, fine, but tell me why you want to do it. So the heart of Unboxing BLR is to change the perception of Bangalore as a city. They wanted Bangalore not to be like, when you Google Bangalore, it shouldn't say traffic woes. It should say a city of culture, a city of great people, of artists, a city where I want to go every year to the Hubba. And that stayed with me, and I was like, okay, we need to figure out. So my instinct was, oh my god, what a chance to do something so wonderful for this city, right? So my instinct was ki kuch karna hai. The challenge was how to make the numbers work. uh, we took a decision that we will figure out a way to make the numbers work. So it meant talking to, so it was a team of 30, and I personally spoke to each person that came on board, and I said, for me, it's a chance of a lifetime. I don't know what it's for you. I will give it my best. I'm going to bring my A game. You will never get a chance like this to work with a team and be exposed to so much, and such great artists and so much great talent. And those who bought into that emotion, they came on board. We did not have a single person drop for a single day. Everybody was there. Nobody fell ill. Nobody got a stomach ache. You know how we feel that the youngsters are only there. अरे वो तो कैमरा लेके आएगा और उसको उसके पैसे मिल गए और वो चला जाएगा. Not a single person, man. They were excited. They're still in touch with me. They're like, and each person, me included, we've built such a cinematic showreel. right? How do you get to see the Manganya? How do you get to shoot Manganya seduction? It's a chance of a lifetime. So I think, and that's just one of the 350, right? So I think we went with the instinct. And the client, and that's what's lovely, I think, about people. Our clients are still people. So jab tak log hai, jab tak when they are people, people see, they recognize your sincerity, they recognize your integrity, they recognize your capability. And we asked a little, they wanted a little more money, we wanted a little more money, they gave it, we did it. I mean,
Everything worked out in the end. Everybody was happy. What is the discipline that you have built into your own thinking that you failed to build into your company?
like I said, company is young, so I don't have so much of, I don't have so many areas of concern. But when I work with new people, when I'm working with youngsters, my request to them is to stay. I find them really lacking in exposure. What's good content, referencing, like I still, like yesterday I was sitting and learning about this one crazy music video director, and I spent like 4 hours just figuring out the kind of work he's doing. I don't see them doing that. I can understand it comes with, because they're very exhausted. There's so much information, there's so much content. They feel कि हाँ ये तो I can learn it anytime. So I think we have to stay very hungry for, to stay wanting to learn, hungry, what's happening, keep referencing. And that's usually when I'm speaking with someone on the team, I'm like, guys, come back with something that inspired you, and come back, bring inspiration and passion into your work. Then your work will be fun. So I'm not saying everybody doesn't have it, but sometimes I feel that they are quite exhausted by so much content, yeah, and that short form to screws your brain, no? It just like totally, it does, it just exhausts you. I have to get onto Instagram for work, and I get so tired when I'm watching other people's content. I'm like, this is, and if you're addicted to it, then you're like only doing that to yourself. So I feel bad for them. And then I shut Instagram for a month on my own phone, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Let me go back to, I'm a long form junkie actually.
Most agency founders have a personal definition for good work, which sometimes does not match their pitch deck. What's your definition of good work?
I think I have done lots of good work. I have, so my, and I think I've been honest to most of the work I've done. So it's not like my showreel. I'm not wanting to show it in my showreel. That's what I'm trying to say. But my showreel caters to the what the client wants, because again I can't overload him. Like I don't walk into meetings and tell them I've done 6 years of Big Boss, and I don't do that. It's like it's not relevant to his life. I don't have that problem. So I think I spend time in my repertoire finding stuff that will be relevant and trying to understand that what they want. Like just day before I was speaking with a founder, young lady. I know she's her exposure. She needs to make a community which is like 5,000 people. So giving her a big daddy, uh, it'll intimidate her. That was my learning, by the way. It's a big learning for me as a when I started as a founder, especially in Bangalore, uh, is don't unnecessarily do too much talking, do too much of name dropping, and it's okay. Let your show them the work they need to see. I like the simplicity of South India. It's slightly different from Bombay and very different from Delhi. Delhi, you go with your big guns. So I work in all three markets, and they're different.
Which mental model do you reach for when a client wants you to do something that you believe is wrong for them?
I think that if the person is sitting in front of me and they giving me their time, like you are, I have to really deeply respect that time. Um, I will respect it by giving it my 100%, whether you're a CEO, my buddy, my client, whether your problem is like. So recently I did a project for Orange Health Labs. It's a podcast, right? Just like what you and I are doing. And I've launched Vodafone on Big Boss. I've launched Airtel on Big Boss. I've launched Oppo on Big Boss. I've done so much multi-crow work. And my husband was laughing because I was doing exactly what I did for them for my Orange Health podcast as I want to do for you. So when the person in front sees that, he will allow you to tell him when something is wrong for him. So long-winded way to get to what you asked. But yeah, so yeah, so in fact, on this podcast, we did it in April. So something, and I said ये नहीं चलेगा यार, तो क्यों इस पे, why are you arguing, नहीं चलेगा. But having said that, if the client turns around and says, oh, this is what I want and I know best, okay, fine, I'm not married to my idea. I'm not married to my the suggestion I've given to you. So I think to create a respectable relationship where you can share your POV, your point of view, and yet no egos. Finally, we're here. We're as professionals. Let's go ahead. And also, another thing I learned is people are so different, right? Their triggers, not just their triggers, their drivers. We don't know what their driver is for something that they are doing. So it's not necessary that I know it better than them. So, I mean, in the realm of ethics, that we're staying there. So,
Where is the agency business leaking value right now in a way most founders are not willing to name?
I think I observe fear of losing business making us restless and not well grounded. Maybe changing direction, maybe wanting to change ourselves, like even doubting ourselves. And no, I don't think we need to doubt ourselves. We need to be adaptable and malleable, but not doubt ourselves. Just because clients want a transactional, and most clients, like my initial few conversations are, चार रील बना दो 2 lakh रुपए के लिए, no? So it's very transaction. It's a commodity. It's a transaction. They don't really care. They don't want any thought in it. They don't want a strategic insight. कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. But if we stay there, we'll never increase our service relationship with the client. So we need to still give them, like if we feel that no, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? So I think upselling, building a relationship and upselling. So hold your ground, stay there. It's okay if he doesn't give you that one meeting. It's okay if he missed that meeting. Go back. And upselling is important. In fact, I know for a fact that at Google, upselling is brings in maybe 25 to 30% of additional revenue for them. Like their salespeople's targets are so linked to upselling. So there was a wonderful leader who I had the good fortune of working with, Mr. Anil Kapoor of FCB, FCB Ulka. He passed away a few years ago. And I remember Mr. Kapoor sharing that the person who has the client's trust will always be successful in communications. So I think it's such a lovely thing he said. Um, and so I've tried. So I think if we build that trust, and that trust will not be built on just because you're nice to them, or you're their social buddy. And I mean, I don't operate in that. It may work for some in as a business model, but if you care about their business, if you care about their job security, such a big thing in brand management, right? Their job security, and you're there to help solve their problems. I think you can upsell your services and expand your offering.
What is the conversations happening inside the Indian client procurement rooms that agencies have not adjusted to as yet?
So, of course, the largest conversation is that everything is so much cheaper, production is cheaper now, everything should be cheaper. I mean, that's the conversation I hear. So, I think educating them back that it is, why is it not cheaper? And for that, I think we have to have tried the newer solutions, and like say we're trying multiple. There's someone turned around and say, "Oh, in fact, they told me, why don't you use 11 Labs? Mera dub kar do. Ye dub theek nahi tha. My answers weren't correct." And I'm like, yeah, I need an expertise. I need to hire an expertise for it. So if you're looking at a cost breakdown, just explain the cost breakdown to them for what you thought was cheaper, and that will only come if you've tried it. No, or say that I'm using whether I'm using creation softwares, right? Video creation generation softwares, right? Then also how there is a cost to it, that one does not serve your purpose, there is a time, again you need a specialist, you need a special, and you need a senior specialist who can tell that the like the axis of this, the eyes of this character that you have generated is wrong. You can't have a young person can't look at, say that I've generated this visual, this video, but it's good to go, but a senior person can tell you what are the flaws with it and why therefore it won't fly. So I think the cost of AI adoption, the cost of senior resources, when we can explain, that is it is essential to do that to them, but we still hear it, make it cheaper.
So the value of experience is being discounted by the um, availability of AI tools.
Yeah, but it is not really cheaper. It is not currently, it is not cheaper. AI is so expensive, engines are so expensive. I mean, I was doing some reading up how I think all three companies, Google, Meta, Oracle, they all had replaced humans for AIs. I mean, we're digressing, but they brought many humans back. So it's not like it won't get there. It'll get there. There's lots of great stuff happening. In fact, one of the things that I'm researching on currently, which I have not done, is 3D modeling and then immersive production techniques. Because now there's no rendering time, you can do you can do live literally. So these are very fascinating, but they're still extremely expensive. They require my time. I'm an expensive resource. If not me, another creative person, another producer, it is a resource, right? So I mean, it's a challenging time. But we have to educate the procurement rooms, and then of course, then it's a business decision whether.
Which agency capabilities that your firm was hired for 5 years ago no longer earns the fee that it used to? And what are you charging for instead?
So I think agencies are no longer getting premium for production, for any of the production processes, right? Let's leave aside the 5% of the big films where they want a billable director or a billable, tech person or a creative person. But for 95% of the work, production is a commodity. Personally, I feel that Neerav and I are able to bring, and that's the only premium we can charge, an understanding of content and consumer across platforms, different platforms, and how they're different. How the content piece on Instagram needs to be very different for the content piece on YouTube needs to be extremely different for and not just in theory but in practice. Like how is it different, right? How do you make it different? So I think that's the only premium that at least he and I can offer, which is still, which I feel is really, really valuable.
What is the one type of pitch that you have stopped participating in, and what has changed for you?
The LinkedIn pitches would say, looking for social media agency. No, man. I think, and especially if the brief is vague, like if the second question is how much will you charge for making a reel, and I don't reply to that, because if you have not spent any time in writing your brief, uh, why will you spend any time in, I mean, therefore that's how much time you'll spend in doing the project, and it'll be like quite a useless piece of work to be on. So I don't. If I feel that no, this is a person who's ready to invest time in what they want, then I'm happy to invest time. Even like I shared earlier, even if the money is less, I'm young. I need to do good work. I want to do a lot of different work. So I'm happy investing. But that let, and it's so sad. You're just getting ideas from people, and people work hard to generate ideas because AI is not giving you ideas. AI is giving you execution. uh, so people work hard for their ideas, and you put it together and you give it to somebody else. It's just not nice. So
What is the most widely held belief in the Indian agency business that you think is wrong?
I don't know about a belief, but I think when our commissions became single digit, and when our commissions went from, I mean, we've enjoyed 15% commission, we enjoyed 10% commission, and then suddenly one day we were at 1.5% commission. It's just, we just lost. There's a lot to reflect on what we lost. I think we lost our own belief, we lost teams, we lost people. So that is wrong. We, of course, I mean, now agencies are reinventing themselves. Everyone's becoming lighter. We need to be, we need to be agile. We lost all our people as well. We lost good people. We lost a lot of our really, really good thinkers. We don't have good thinking people coming into agencies now. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, but I think we undervalued ourselves, and many people have said this is nothing new. We undervalued ourselves. We need to value ourselves, and we need to look for the good clients and the good breaks, and then do really good work. And then let's not try and make a quick buck. I think that quick buck, कुछ भी दे दो, बना दो, अमिताभ बच्चन को ले आओ, 2 करोड़ की फिल्म बना दो, and last, the long term it doesn't last. So it may, I mean, so I think, yeah.
Where is the industry spending money that it need not spend?
So the industry that I look at in this, if we classify the industry, would be the brands creating content. Okay, because that's my industry. Um, and I think the always on strategy, which everyone loves, everyone's living by it, that's the spine for their content handles. It creates that illusion that you're doing everything right. Always on is not always right. And in that race, no, in that running, that race of always on, um, I don't know who is, and teams are very lean now, which is also very sad. Teams are really lean now, even at at brands. So who's taking the time to take a step back and say these? Put out 80 pieces of content this quarter. What did they do? What were they supposed to do? Where do I not need to overthink? So I think those questions are not being asked. um, I also feel that, and I think it was GVK who wrote that great article about where the dollar is going, where's the money going. I remember and I used to be a media buyer, media planner. I used to suggest to my client how to spend their money. And I had a wonderful client, gentleman named Roy Cherian at Nestle. I was on Nestle for 10 years of my life. And Royce would ask me, what about those people who didn't see that ad today? You know? And it used to be such an important question to ask. And now no one's asking the question, what about the 700,000 bots who are seeing my ad, right? And am I really, right? What about the farms? And so you needed a brand. You don't just need a brand custodian, you also need a person who cares about the money. I think one is wanting to be efficient about the money but not care about where the money is going. So two things: one is the creative impact, and the other is the wastage, or the flip side, which is the impact of the money. So I think those two conversations need to be, I think at brand level, there's so much money being spent and not spending enough time on this.
Describe a decision you made in the last 12 months that your peers would probably disagree with.
Mm, so we had an option of becoming larger, taking on, picking up like a small retainership with and doing social media, and we have chosen not to do that. And I feel it's because we didn't want to get busy looking at the smaller picture and stay alert, and also there's a fire under our bum to do better work. I mean, right? I didn't want this illusion that I'll get a 50,000 retainer and life will be fine. No, life will not be fine. In fact, I will not have time to, expand myself. I don't know if we've done the right decision. Time will tell. Though I think all market indicators, if we look at what others, what seniors in the industry are talking, everyone is talking about small specialist teams.
What would you stop doing tomorrow if you could, and why have you not stopped yet?
And stop negotiating downwards. That I don't. I want to stop negotiating downwards. Like, ideally, I don't want to, but that's the reality of that.
Where are you placing your personal bet in the next 3 years that your agency's P&L does not yet reflect?
So I'm hopeful that I'm looking for business to come from the fact that each brand is going to progressively become its own media platform. All brands which have consumer interface, which want to develop brand saliency, develop an identity, develop brand loyalty, they have to keep building their content engine. That's the only way they can converse with their consumer. And I really feel that that's where I can bring in. That's the source of business that it's going to be. So while the audience base will be small, and that's the reorientation I need to do, having worn a broadcasting hat for so long. But the storytelling, the engagement, all of that has to be repackaged, or freshly put for smaller audience bases. So I think there's more than enough work that's going to come. Everything is becoming about your own footprint. It's no longer, I mean, the tables have turned. We've gone from broadcasting to narrowcasting, and I feel that, and therefore everyone has to do that job. I mean, how else will you talk to the consumer? You will become irrelevant. Otherwise, I mean, so many products are so many brands are products right now. Only promotions, only sale related information. That means you are always replaceable, right? So I think we have to keep, and I think a lot of it you can see it. So people are leading this journey, right? All and the whole influencer space, the whole space of celebrities who've gone into content creation, whether it's Priyanka Chopra, whether it's Virat, well, not Virat so much, but Priyanka. I mean, she's really led content creation for a single person, and she's been doing it for 10 years now. More than that, in fact, or maybe 15 years. And she does it personally. I mean, she has a big team, but it's her personal interest. I think they've already done it, they're already doing it. And brands have to follow, and therefore, you need people who will give you that expertise and that experience. And
What does the next generation of agency leaders understand about your business that your generation does not?
they are they're native to the medium. They understand interactivity. They understand it's in their blood. I need to work very hard to be as immersed in it as they are. Um, but it's great to learn from them. So I think the younger gen is really, they know how to build the audience, and they're very happy with whatever audience they build. That happiness is very interesting. No, so television, no, you're always wanting to take Star का भी हमको audience दे दो और Z का भी हमको audience दे दो. It's very different mindset. It's very competitive. It's very like, and therefore you even often copy and stuff like that. But here, the new age content creators, they're happy to build their own. They find their own tricks. They so I think there's lots to learn from them. Uh, there's lots to learn.
Do you think that the younger generation is encouraging an always on approach?
Yes, um, because that's what they've seen, and that's where we need to educate them. So I don't know if you saw, day before yesterday, Madonna released an 11-minute film. She's 65 years old, and she's worked with a really, really young music director. And there are 5 songs in that. So now the trend in music is 1 minute videos. Actually, I mean, that's the trend that's emerging. So it's similar to Instagram because you need 60 seconds or whatever, but the video per se is 1 minute. So she's made a film. So she made a long form film, which are 5 songs are being showcased, and she's learning from that generation. The sound is bang on. She's the Madonna I loved, and I can see that the new age people are loving her. So there are ways to bridge to learn from each other and bridge. So we have there's so many references to draw from.
Which capabilities are you building inside your firm today that no client is willing to pay for yet? And why are you building it anyway?
So some amount of course, AI assisted workflows are already we're already paying for it. We're already building it. We're not taking it. I mean, not passing on that expense to the client. A certain amount of experimentation, like I said, with immersive, 3D technology, it's pretty expensive. Um, but that's the fun. I mean, that's how else will I learn, and how else will we do something different. So yeah, I think if we know and we try, then we can fail, but we can win. So yeah.
What is the client need that does not exist yet, but you can already see forming?
So I think to be able to really um, like I said, the need for your money to be put to better use or not be wasted. And they're not talking it yet, they're still talking only efficiencies, but to really ask the deeper questions on, am I wasting my money? And the second is, in how effective is my content, not just how on is my content. It's repetitive, but that's what I feel is happening.
If the agency models break the way you think it might, what is the version of your firm that survives it?
So I think subject experts, um, yeah, you know, like a specialist team, content specialists for brands. Yeah, I think, you know, in that manner, yeah, just to be treated as subject experts rather than हमें सब कुछ आता है, ये हम सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, like in that space. Yeah, so there was an adage. Initially, the adage was content is king. Then it became, if content is king, then distribution is god. And I think now content is worthless, and context is everything. So yeah. So I think let's build context to whatever we say, do, spend our time on for our brands, and make sure I think make sure it creates value. Must create value for everyone who's part of the process: the consumer, the marketer, the you know everyone who's part of that process.
This was today's signal. If something here sharpened how you think, share it with one peer you think should hear it. To suggest a guest, write to the Ad Club Bangalore. I'm Sunil John, back in 2 weeks with another voice worth transmitting.